Yeah.
I'm gone.
Okay, here today to discuss with y'all about exceptions and boundaries of professional educators, specifically about code of ethics regarding student confidentiality. Before we start the video, I just want to introduce everybody. This is Ms. Kyler, our counselor here at Miss Sampson Middle School. This is Ms. Bone. She's one of our special ed teachers here at 8th grade at Miss Sampson Middle School. This is Mr. Kevin Young, our principal here at Miss Sampson Middle School. This is Coach Ernest Calloway, 8th grade science teacher here at Miss Sampson Middle School. So these are all real chief people in our school who have a great understanding about what's going on, and I appreciate y'all being here today. Also ask today that any input y'all have in today to please put in. When I hear this, it's kind of a roundtable discussion about confidentiality regarding students. So today I'm going to be looking at standard nines. Y'all know I'm doing my internship in instructional educational leadership. Just looking at ethical principles and professional norms. So this was a quote I found here I really like. It says, educators are held to higher standards than other professionals. Would y'all agree with that? I think we're right up there with preachers. You know, in my book, you know, pastors, preachers, we're held right there. Sometimes people forget we're a little bit human, but we just have to remember that. And I think that's a big thing that we need to remember today. Next one. Professional educators have responsibility for establishing and controlling boundaries in their professional relationships. This is something, I used to be a former UNICEF director. I remember having to deal with many times talking to teachers about keeping their relationships at home, trying to keep it out of school, also relationships with students, trying not to talk about students outside of school and other settings. And here you go, Mr. Evans. Right there. So this is something we always have to remember is these boundaries in relationships. And next one. Go ahead and hit it again. So code of ethics regarding student confidentiality. So today we're going to be identifying the essential ethical and potential moral and legal consequences of decision making when working with school personnel and community members, such as confidentiality, integrity, and respect. And the next one. So code of ethics regarding student confidentiality. So these are some things I want you to think about as we go through a couple examples here in a minute. The legal aspect, the confidentiality aspect, the respect of the person, just like you would want somebody to respect you, and the integrity of the person that you might be talking about. Okay, next one. So, confidentiality information. What do you do? So I've got a few examples here, and I want to hear y'all's input on this, and I'll give you some of mine too. It says you have the pastor's son in class, and a board member stops you in the grocery store to ask you about the pastor's son's grades and conduct. What do? Are you going to start telling the pastor, you're going to start telling the board member about the pastor's son, that you're having some problems with him and his grades are low?
Not if you want to keep your job.
Right.
Okay. All right. What are some things that jump out of you? Remember the legal, confidential, respect, integrity. What's some things that jump out of you that legal-wise you want to think about?
The FERPA laws. Those are designed to protect students' privacy. So again, even if it was a board member that happened to be kin to the preacher, if they're not on the list, then you shouldn't share your information with them for any reason.
Right. And that's something we can talk about first of school years about these FERPA laws now, and it's something we need to be aware of. The confidentiality part, I know Miss Kyler, you got a lot of things, as a counselor, what's some things you think about this jumps out to you when you see this right here?
Losing my job because I have access to, from grades to personal things, everything. So the first thing that jumps out is, why is he asking about the pastor's son? Because that's not his son. So
That's a great
what is his point?
Right. What's the
So
integrity
that
part of it?
right. Even though he's a board member, probably like, well, why? So.
Right. And I've heard teachers before, I had this as a unit service director, I had a teacher come to me before, and she did the right thing. She told the board member, and it was kind of like this, her husband happened to be associate pastor, but he was asking about the pastor's son. She came to me and said, I had a board member stop me the other day in the grocery store and was wanting to know about it, and she said, sir, I don't think I can really talk about this. She said, this might be something we can talk to my principal, but I'm pretty sure, you know. She called me, and I said, no, you did the right thing. I said, you can't give out any information. And then her whole thing was, I was wondering what she was getting around to. What was he trying to fish out, you know, and so forth. So
That always scares me, just when I'm going around town, because we do live in a small town, you know, you see people at Walmart, at the mall. In the back of my mind, I'm always fearful of them saying, well, how's he doing in school? Because that's the last thing I want to talk about when I'm in public.
sure.
Right.
So,
Right, and that's a big one there is, you're in public, you don't know who'll be the next aisle listening to you,
Right.
you know, so, you know, if I'm talking about Coach Callaway's kid and gets back in hell, well, it may be pretty hot at me, so, you know, so I don't want to step on any toes. So, you know, I think that's a huge example about talking out public, even if it's a board member, you know, we need to be aware of those laws and, you know, the legal, we talked about, you know, confidentiality, respect, integrity of it. Ms. Bone, you know, this is a special ed student. I know you've got all kind of laws you've got to be worried about, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so, you know, you've got to always be worried about that. Right. And same thing with the regular ed teacher, we've got to be worried about those special ed students as well. Okay, the next one here, it says, educator folds up report cards of students who make, folds up report cards of students who make failing grades. So what it's saying here is, the teacher's got these report cards here, and the ones that don't have failing grades that unfolded, but she's got a group of folded over here. So when she goes to hand out these folded ones to the kids, and the kids already have figured this out, she's telling them who's got the failing grades. Consequently, the rest of the class knows who's failing. Is this okay?
No.
legally, you're okay. Legally, you are okay, but as far as confidentiality, respect, integrity, you're gonna lose all those things with that class. Because I, as a teacher, first year teacher, made that mistake one time. I didn't want the kids to be embarrassed about what grade they made, and I would fold up bad grades and hand it back, and it was very quick, everybody knew what that was about. So I changed that habit pretty quick because of that reason.
Or just fold them all.
Just fold them all, that's why you're not doing it, just fold them all, because again, the kids, they catch on pretty quick. But again, you're not gonna get in trouble for that as far as like legally, but your kids are gonna lose some respect for it, especially those that keep making bad grades, and the confidentiality. That's, kids don't like getting bad grades back, and they don't like their buddies knowing they made a bad grade either.
Right, okay. And that's great, that's a great example right there. So you've actually been through it and you know, so, yeah, and that's something, I think we all have to
It's
be
just a
aware of.
respect thing, like you said, you don't wanna disrespect the kids.
Exactly right, yeah, and I don't wanna upset a parent, because if I'm a parent, my child has a bad grade, I would hate for them kind of telling everybody about my kid having a bad grade too, so that's another one. All right, and the last one here we'll look at says, educators also ask for all the children who were going to be retained to raise their hands so everyone could see. So now parents in the community are talking about who is failing. Is this okay or not okay?
Once again, legally, you're probably not gonna be in trouble legally, you're not, because students don't necessarily have rights that adults do, but the parents are gonna be mad at you. You've lost some you've broken confidentiality, you disrespected, and you've lost some integrity there. And again, if the teacher is trying to prove a point, that's a bad point to prove in front of everybody.
Right. And I agree, I had a little similar incident with this with a teacher when I was unit service director. Legally wasn't any trouble, however, they did put in his file that he had done this, kind of as a warning, and they can do that. You need to know anything that goes in those permanent records. Principals and superintendents have their own little files, and you may think, oh, my principal knows. Yeah, they do. They've all got them, okay? Anything that goes in those permanent files, they can use against you, We're not saying the superintendent's principals are out to get you. They're not. Majority of them are not. But they can one day. That brings us to the next slide. I want to talk to you about too. So, Next here says, an educator shall comply with state and federal laws and state school board policies. This was a big one as a former unit store director too. My legal background and stuff. A lot of people don't read up on school board policies. And just because you don't know it's there, you know, that don't mean it don't pertain to you. Okay? So ignorance is not going to really help you. It's still there. You should know it's there. Related to the confidentiality of student personnel records, standardized test material, and other information. I've got one more. So, can there be consequences? The answer is yes. You know, one of those which says, you know, you can legally get in trouble. You're in a store and you're talking about somebody else's kid, even if it's with a board member. Yes, you could get in trouble. You could actually get suspended. You know, you could get written up. If it keeps happening enough, hopefully it won't get to that point, you could lose your job. Or if it got big enough and got on national news or local news, whatever, you never know how far it can go. So it's just something we all need to be aware of is these confidentiality laws, but not just on the legal, but, you know, thinking about too, what I said about the respect and integrity part of your students. You want them to respect you. And, you know, just like the way I always said it, you know, my stepdaughter, you know, I sure wouldn't want a teacher out there talking about her grades and things. So we have to think about it that way, how it's going to affect us. But just to know that the answer is yes, even if it's not a, you know, a suspension or let go of a job. I mean, if you get that right up in your file, it's still there on your permanent records. And that could be used against you in a court of law one day. So, you know, it's just something I always think about. Any other comments and questions on this issue? I appreciate y'all's input. Appreciate Mr. Young, Ms. Kyler. I appreciate all y'all coming in here. Thank y'all so much. And that's it. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.